Happy Sunday, everyone. This is Julie HR, and I'm excited to bring you my third weekly HR education update, where we'll go over weekly HR news, trends, and compliance dates. And this is a video you don't want to miss. If you're into being creative and creativity and taking it to your job to enhance employee engagement and the organization as a whole, you're really going to want to watch the whole entire video. So thanks so much, and we're going to get started. So what's on the agenda this week? Well, today, and as mentioned, it's our third weekly update. I'm going to go over the last week very, very quickly for some of those who have not seen the last video. Some upcoming compliance dates. Trust me, I will keep you updated. I will keep you compliant. You will know about what's coming up when, because I will be going over it weeks ahead of time. Then we're going to have an employee engagement focus every week. We're going to go on and feature some templates this week. I'm going to have a section where I feature templates that I think will be very valuable to your organization and make you look like a rock star. And then I'm going to speak today to, sorry, that did not mean to move. Hold on, let me move back. AI within the HR landscape. And we're just going to kind of go over it a little bit. And then I'm going to give you a little homework assignment so you can kind of dig into it as the week goes on. Okay, last week's recap. Last Sunday, we reviewed all the states. We went through all the minimum wage updates for all the states. It didn't include all the states, maybe about 20. We reviewed all the HR compliance dates for all the states going into effect on January 1st, like paid sick leave, privacy, child labor discrimination topics. You can kind of see what I went over. I'm going to move this. Hopefully this doesn't move everything else. I went through an entire list, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, and it lists it out. I have resources where I'm able to go and see every single state and what's going on, and I can keep you updated. And that's what I did last week. So if you want to go back onto last week's last week's video, you are welcome to do that. We also talked about reviewing and updating your work posters, not just your safety ones, but your federal, state, and local ones that talk about like the minimum wage, that talk about polygraph testing. I think all of you pretty much know what they are because they're probably in your employee break room. We also discussed the increase in the mileage rate going from 0.67 cents to 70 cents. So that means that you needed to update your policies and also your employee expense reports if that number is actually plugged into it. We also went over the new H1 visa rule. Now, yes, this has not gone into effect. It goes into effect January 17th. And I went ahead and looked for everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide as it's appropriate. It actually doesn't go into the 17th. And actually, I went onto the IRS site to see, okay, well, let me see this new form because that's what's going to be important. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of new updates, changes to modernize and enhance the H-1B program, which I'm sure a lot of you are hearing about on the television for some reason or another. I know it's being talked about in Congress and in legislative bodies and whatnot. Just know that this H-1B program is the one program that it aligns with those individuals who have specialty occupations that, they're the top 1% of people probably in their field in the world, and you're trying to bring them over the best you can. It strengthens the cap gap protections for the students. There are clear guidelines, and there's codification of deference to prior approvals. The rule aims to help the U.S. employers remain competitive by making easier to hire global talent while ensuring compliance and oversight. Now, this does not need to be confused with the visas that are brought over for the seasonal workers that work on the golf courses, that are working in particular fields and farming and whatnot. There are a number of type of visas if you go look on the IRS site, but this is for those special people, those rocket science people who are going to take the United States to the next level, and it is a company that is sponsoring this individual, and they are going to need to ensure that they use the right form. I actually went onto the IRS site, and they do not have the form on there just yet. It will actually be up there on exactly January the 17th. They do have they have a preview of it, but they don't have the actual form. But if you are someone that's in the technology sector and you're bringing over people who are doing coding or engineering or in maybe the medical field, you need to make sure that you use this form or it could get rejected. We're going to take a little look at my HR calendar of key dates. New Year's Day, check, we made it through it. We did the minimum wage adjustments, check. The employee handbooks we discussed last week about the 3 new federal rules. On the 15th, there is a deadline for Q4 estimated tax payments for the prior year. This probably, a lot of small businesses will probably need to know about that. And then on the 17th, I put new H-1B visa rule. On the 20th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and it is also Inauguration Day too. So you want to keep that in mind too. I'm not exactly sure what time the inauguration comes on, but I'm not sure if your employees have off that day, but it's a federal holiday, so more than likely they do. Going down, looking at the key dates, the W-2s and 1099 distributions. We went over this last week. File forms, W-2 with form W-3 with Social Security Administration, quarterly forms. And then last week I also spoke to the ACA and, the Obamacare forms that need to go out to your workers, also to the contractors, all these tax forms that people are going to need to file their taxes. Also down here, I included about the 401k contribution increasing to $23,500. I went on the IRS site because I wanted to show y'all all the changes and the new caps on the various 401k, 403b, the catch-ups. But the IRS has not updated their site as of yet. Also, I wanted to show you guys some of the FSA and HSA increases, which we discussed in the last video in depth. It's not on the IRS site, but it is. Please note that there are changes, and I'm sure your benefits department and your benefits brokers have let you know. You will know this. You've probably let your employees, and you've probably reminded them, hey guys, flexible spending account. Need to utilize those dollars as we roll them over to the new year. So those are some key dates coming up. Also, you want to, go ahead and jump on the gun, and, it's not February, but I know filling out forms can be tedious. You want to post OSHA Form 300A on your employee bulletin board. And, I remember it took me a long time to do that. So be sure to go ahead and jump on that and start pulling those files and forms and everything together. So that's for February. So I know that was a lot, but let's keep going, guys. Yes, my favorite part, employee engagement focus. I'm always about, employee engagement. It is so important. I just can't tell you how much. As you know, I have an employee engagement calendar. Here is January. It's on my Etsy site, and a lot of you wonderful customers of mine have purchased it. Yes, there are some funny little things in here, and actually a lot of not just funny, but fun things to do in here that you maybe as an HR person might be like, oh, that's a little silly, but no. The employees, they really find it engaging. Like actually having like a National Compliment Day on the 24th, where maybe you could say, everybody writes an email to, one of their particular coworkers and compliments them on, the work that they do. Just be that leader and engage your employees. And hopefully you've all purchased my employee engagement calendar that has a theme every year. Hopefully you've already, within the template, it speaks to the mission and vision, and it also speaks to, quite possibly you guys holding a town hall, which I think would be very important to, just kind of renew the mission and the vision of the organization and get your employees excited, get them on a, and make sure that if this is a town hall, that those employees that are not in the office are included. You want to start this year off. You want to start it off strong, kind of like you want to start this week off strong by watching each and all my videos on Monday. I would recommend watching these videos on Monday morning or Tuesday morning. Now, if there's something coming up on Monday, I will make sure that it's up on Monday, but it'll always be up on Monday. But if for some reason it's not, you'll know way in advance. I'm not going to let anyone be non-compliant in what's going on. So back to feedback. Okay, we talked about engagement calendar, feedback. Okay. You as an HR professional know you've got a good vibe. You understand the vibe in your office, right? You do. But it's important to capture that vibe. I would encourage, and I'm actually working on a beginning of the year employee engagement survey, and I'll probably have it posted within the next 2 days. I would encourage to do a survey, and I would encourage to find out where you are and then decide where you need to be. And then you need to make a plan to get there. Because if you find out your employees have very low morale, they are not happy in their job, now is the time to know. Let's start the year off right. Also, I wanted to speak to, so number one, a survey. I'll be pushing one of those out. It'll be on my Etsy site, and I will also go over it in depth, and I will create a video. And I need to do that for all of my templates. So another thing, I watched a video. I'm not quite sure who spoke on it, but it was like probably about two or 3 weeks ago, and it was very, very powerful. It's called, surveying your employees using the Employee Net Promoter Score. And you should do this on a regular basis. And it's not a survey. Guess what it is? It's actually just one question, just one simple question. And it's a useful metric for assessing an organization's employee engagement. Now, this Net Promoter Score was used from a customer standpoint, but then it was so powerful that they changed it to an Employee Net Promoter Score, where organizations are using it. So it measures how likely your employees are to recommend your organization as a good place to work. So the question could be one simple question. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you recommend, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, where would you rate this organization as a good place to work? And that would be your question. What I challenge you to do is Google this, look it up, take a look at it. This might be something that you want to do as opposed to a beginning of the year survey. Once each employee gives their score, let's say they give a 5 or a 6, they're broken down into detractors, passives, or promoters, and it allows you to get a score. And that's what's cool. And you can track your score like each month. So it could just be one simple question. How likely are you to recommend this organization as a place to work to your family and friends? And that is the question. That's it. And that is supposed to be, and that via the video I watched from some very high level legal professional said that this should be one of the top things that you are constantly monitoring throughout the year. Okay. All right. Another thing on my YouTube, if you didn't see it this week, I put a quote up that said 94% of employees say they'd stay at a job longer if they had access to career development opportunities. And that was from a LinkedIn workplace learning report. And I found that pretty telling. So as HR professionals, I think we know that our work is cut out for us and that we need to take each and every employee and develop them for the future. Take a time with them, work with their managers to help develop them. And we'll dive into managers a little bit more. That's another one of my favorite topics, managers, because they can make your life so much easier and if you train them correctly. Okay, on the employee engagement focus, we talked about feedback via maybe a survey that you want to purchase from me or using the employee net promoter score. And we'll look at this next week too. We're also going to look at, I created this in actually Canva, and it's an employee bulletin board. It's not exactly how I would make my employee bulletin board to look, but just based on what was given to me, I put some of my templates up there, and I really hope, and this is where the creativity comes in, that this will jog your mind and thoughts regarding employee engagement. So let's take a look at this calendar. This bulletin board, excuse me. And I'm actually, this week, when I find the time, among many things, is to maybe put together an employee bulletin board bundle where I put like all the templates that are on here, or maybe some more, together, and then you can purchase it, and therefore you have a lot of great items to download and actually put up on an employee bulletin board. An employee bulletin board is a treasure, and it is something that needs to be, whether it's virtual, but I would encourage, if you're in like a manufacturing office or a governmental office or whatnot, to actually put it up on within the employee break room. Okay, so here we go. I kind of just blew it up. Right here, I have, this is number 1, employee, and hopefully this will give you some ideas. My job as an HR professional is to try to, give you great ideas that I've used in the past that I know are very, very, have really impacted engagement. And so here's some of the ideas. I think we've mentioned this employee newsletter, and it's also in my engagement calendar. I have a Word. This one right here that's on top of actually the other one is an actual Word employee newsletter, which is pretty very easy to edit. And underneath it, which you can see on my Etsy site, just type in employee newsletter, if you know Canva, you can also create one. So you can create employee newsletters that you can email out, but I would also encourage you to put them up on the employee bulletin board, because those employees who are in a manufacturing setting, they'll have a chance to read about what's going on in the news. Also, I'm a big employee safety person, and what we're going to do next week is I'm also going to dive into safety a little bit more, because I know that there are certain trainings that need to be taking place, especially with your new hires when you bring them on. But going back to this, just putting up these are like employee workplace safety rules. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I need to go backwards. Sorry, guys. Workplace safety rules. So that's a great little template that's also in my store. I want to encourage, and I'm just giving you more ideas. We're hiring open positions. Some of the best recruiters within your organization are your employees. They are the ones who bring in those employees that they feel like are a fit. And I would encourage you, if you already haven't, maybe consider having a program where if you it's employee referral program. I would encourage you to have an employee referral program, but phrase it in that, this employee must stay for, maybe 4 or 5 months, or maybe 90 days, however you see fit, before that. If it's an employee referral program and there is a monetary, or if there's some kind of bonus to it or something like that, that the referring employee does not receive that bonus until the referred employee is there for 60 days. Employee referral program. That was my great idea there. You may even want to, that would be a great thing to put on the bulletin board. Guess what, guys? We're having an employee referral program, All right. Employee of the month. If you do not have an employee of the month, I would encourage you to have an employee of the month. There is nothing better. And I would encourage putting as recognition is huge. I would encourage recognition, not just as an employee of the month, but within the newspapers. Employees who see themselves, on a bulletin board within their office, they're not going to leave your organization. You are going to retain them, and that is retention, and that is saving you money, and that is a good thing. You want to retain people, you want to engage people, and you want to recognize them. So be very diligent on your Employee of the Month program. If you have my employee engagement calendar, I speak to that within there, and then I have some directions at the end that speak to like the Employee of the Month and the voting and the timing on that. And that's because that's going to be important too. And I also speak to how the Employee of the Month, the ones that are, there's a reminder that goes out, hey guys, you need to vote for the Employee of the Month, that it needs to tie into your organization's mission, vision, and the core values. Is that employee showing those core values? How is this employee exhibiting these core values? So I would encourage you to take a look at my engagement calendar. Excuse me. Hold on just a second. Nominate a star employee. I would put a bunch of these star cards. I have these star cards actually in my Etsy store, and I kind of want to zoom in for you to see it. But it's like the employee's name, what value did they exhibit? How did they show that they went over and above and whatnot. And these star cards can be like laid out, maybe, in the manufacturing employee break room, and they can be turned into the HR professional, and then the HR professional can put it up on the board. And it's really neat to see, the employees walk by and see their name and see where a coworker, nominated them as a star, employee. So it's really cool. Like, someone grabs it and said, maybe Jason did a great job on the manufacturing line, boxing up those brownies for the new pastry organization or whatnot. Just, he showed, he stayed over, just over and above. So as in my engagement calendar, I spoke to core values. So those should also tie into nominating a star employee and also the employee of the month. You actually may want to make your cards, quite possibly tied into that. But if you go and purchase my employee engagement calendar, you will see that. I also have the employee payroll calendar on here. That's always a great idea. Number one, you won't have employees coming in and out of your office. Hey, when are we getting paid? It's Friday's a holiday. How's this going to work? So be sure to, if you don't already have this up, to get this bi-weekly payroll calendar. If you need me to edit it for you or anything, just let me know. Also, employee suggestions. And this is not an actual bulletin board I created in Canva. Here's a suggestion box right here, but maybe you could have like this particular sign, which is in my Etsy store, and then just put a bunch of, just kind of paste a bunch of suggestion cards up on the board, and then the individuals can actually put their suggestions in the box. And then after maybe, every week, you as the HR person can look at it and, and others and see if these suggestions are something that, can be brought to the forefront. Maybe it's something that saves the company money. So hopefully this is generating some creativity in your mind. So I love stuff like this. And trust me, you may think, oh, the employees are going to think it's silly. No. Because I used to be an accountant before I was an HR director. I was an accountant. And so I've changed a lot. But the accountant in me would be like, oh, I bet that would be silly. But no, this is so important and I so enjoy it. And it will make all the difference in the world. Okay, enough about my bulletin board. Okay, I wanted to feature 2 templates, right? Maybe 1 or 2 templates each week. Okay, so number 1, this particular template, the first one right here, the manager one-on-one meeting agenda. All your managers should be conducting one-on-ones with their employees. I guess it depends on how many people that they oversee, but at least every 2 weeks. And I encourage you to purchase this particular one. This doesn't have dummy verbiage where it's like just a bunch of random words. It has, it will really help the manager put together I did it. If you look close enough, it's 8:05, 8:15, 8:25. I'm a very punctual person, and your managers, they are busy, especially those middle managers who are reporting up, but you know what? They're managing down. So their time is very valuable. So this particular manager one-on-one meeting agenda is very straight to the point. It talks about weekly duties, work areas needing to be addressed. That was the previous week. And then at 8:15, the current week, and employee updates, and then announcements, and then anything administrative. It's a 30-minute touch base, and and it's great. And it's one of my top sellers, and people actually love it. And it's in Microsoft Word, it's in Excel, it's in Google Docs, it's in Google Sheets. And with it being in Google and with it being in Microsoft Excel, you can have like little tabs at the bottom that actually have the dates, and maybe have one like so you can go back and you can look each week what what you talked about the week before or whatnot. So it's very, very, very helpful. Also, the total compensation statement. And I don't hear a lot of people talk about this as much. I see a lot of people purchasing this, but there have never really been a whole lot of questions. However, when I first started in HR after I got my MBA, I guess it was in 25, something like that. I learned about the total compensation statement, or you can call it a benefit statement. And it really opened my eyes up to what I didn't know. And it also opened my eyes up to showing employees that what your organization is doing is from a compensation standpoint is not just giving them a salary. You're providing, there are so many other expenses. If you look at an HR budget, you'll see that benefits are like I remember paying the health insurance bill every month. It was huge. So employees don't understand exactly how much your organization is paying towards their vacation, their sick leave, their personal days, their 401k plan, especially if you are matching, if you are, picking up, some of the medical expenses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of jump out of this, and we're actually going to look at this total compensation statement. It's an Excel spreadsheet. And what it does, it really opens the employee's eyes, and it helps them understand, okay, wait a minute, I'm just not bringing home $66,000 a year. There's so much. I'm actually being given so much more. So let's just take a look at it. And what you could do, and I don't know if you want to do it now or maybe after, just at a particular time, because I know a lot of you wear all the hats. Trust me, you wear all the hats. But this is a very valuable thing. It helps with employee retention, engagement, whatever. It helps employees see the value of your organization. So number one, employee name. As an employee of blank, you receive a regular pay for the services you provide. The other part of your total compensation is the value of the benefits that the company makes available to you and your family. This personalized benefit statement, and it should be personalized for each and every employee, and it also needs to be very safe and secure. You need to make sure that no one else is able to see it. You don't want other people to see what other people are making. So there needs to be some security protocols lined up in there. So this personalized benefit statement describes your hidden paycheck and gives you a summary and the value of the benefits you receive. If you have any questions about the statement, please contact HR. So here you go, right here, your compensation, and this has formulas in it where you can change it and whatnot, but it's medical and welfare benefits. Okay, so maybe the employee's spending $1,250 on their health insurance, but I'm just going to pick a random number. But the employer monthly, but the employer from a year, you want to look at this from a yearly standpoint, right? So you may actually want to run a query from last year, I'm thinking, quite possibly, and you can actually see medical. So let's just say $300 a month the employer is contributing to an employee's particular plan. I'm just picking a random number. 300 times 12. So 3,600, and then they're contributing, then you guys are contributing 900 toward the dental, and then 200 to the vision. Short-term disability, you might be paying all of it, and I'm just putting numbers in here. Life insurance, you may be paying for like one times their life. Most companies that I've been with, they usually pay like a couple times your life insurance up to a particular point, and then if you leave the company, you can take it with you. So you can look at the premiums or whatnot that you are paying for the particular employee. It's usually based on their salary, and if they're hourly, it all depends. So I'm just gonna put some numbers in here. EAP, and you more than likely have an EAP. 401k plan, you could go back and run a query, out of, Fidelity or Principal or whoever does it, your 401k, and or get your payroll representative to run, how much was contributed towards their plan on behalf of the employer as the organization. Let's just say 1,200. Pension plan. Don't think a lot of those are around these days, but there are still some for those lucky teachers and those in the government and whatnot. So that would also be very important to put in there too. Okay, paid leave benefits. Okay, so let's just pretend $56,000 is the salary. But whoa, you look at all this, you put the paid leave benefits, then you go and you look at the federal and state mandated benefits, because, employees, they're having to pay, some of their portions, but the employers, they're paying into Social Security, into Medicare, into the unemployment, and into the unemployment state and whatnot. And then other benefits too. So, and at the end of the day, so 56,000 may be what you're making from a salary standpoint, but in all actuality, the total value of all your benefits is over $46,000. So your annual salary with your wages and plus employer benefits is $102,000. So that really opens the eyes of many, many individuals, and they don't realize it. And so this is a very special thing to do, maybe like once a year, because it is a little bit of work, but take the time to do this for every employee. Show them what their hidden paycheck is. So this is one of my featured templates, along with the manager one-on-one. So let's go back to this. Hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. Let's see. Okay. And then the last thing I challenge you this week, and I'm sure within your organization, it depends on the type of organization you have, and also your IT department. There are a lot of moving parts right now. AI within the HR landscape. Excuse me. I'll tell you what, AI is really enhancing recruiting and hiring. And how? Well, let's just say you have a job description or you have a job ad, and you run that job ad against some of the resumes and the skills line up, I'm sure it depends on the vendors you're using, and I'm sure there's a lot of vendors who are knocking on your door, trying to sell you, hey guys, this is how this particular AI, add-on will assist you in your recruiting and hiring. And it actually, I was reading a summary the other day where recruiters, their stress level has dropped tremendously in organizations that have started using AI to assist in automating their, recruiting and hiring. So it's not the recruiter going through each and every one of them. There's a lot of moving pieces, but the AI, it's been able to key into more qualified employees based on their resume, or based, and quite possibly based on the outcomes of an interview. So that is one area to which has been very, very, very helpful. So we'll go back up here and just kind of read this out. How AI will change HR. It's going to help in recruiting and hiring, probably first and foremost in your organization, if it's not already. If it's not already, then it will in the future, because I know this year, I think there's going to be an uptick in hiring and whatnot. Talent retention, examine factors influencing employee retention. AI, if you don't know AI, if you don't know ChatGPT, and there's also other different types of programs, it allows you to put numbers into the system, which gives you recommendations and ideas back. It helps you create, and obviously easy breezy, it helps you create very professional emails. I'm sure you've probably already seen that if you haven't scratched the surface on AI just yet. It helps you with content creation. It helps you with creativity. Let me just tell you that much. It helps you with creativity. Like, give me some great ideas for employee engagement programs, or events, and plan it out and give me a schedule. So I would challenge you this week, because I don't know how familiar you are with AI, and I don't know if you're even able to use it within your organization, if it's something that you're able to go online to a particular app or whatnot. But maybe on your downtime, there are a lot of good YouTube videos out there that speak to AI. It's not something that's you should be scared of right now. Right now, if this is the first time you're really learning about it, but I'm sure it's not, or just acknowledging it, then you're not behind. But you do need to understand how, number one, it's going to affect your position and your job, and how it's going to affect other positions within your organization. Maybe not this year, but we are definitely becoming more digital. I would say that. So I've been super excited to give you this third week of HR Education Edge updates, compliance. I hope I'm providing you with a lot of ideas. I know I get really excited about stuff like this, from employee engagement to, manager training and templates and whatnot. So be sure to connect with me. Make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. And you can follow me on Instagram. Visit my Etsy shop. There is where you will find those wonderful templates, the manager one-on-one. That is a must. Your managers, you've got to train them. And one of the things they've got to do is they have got to be able to lead their team. And that one-on-one provides them with a step-by-step of this is what I need to be talking about with my, with my particular team. So managers, as mentioned in the past, I think it was like a quote of something like people, employees don't leave companies, they leave managers, and there's statistics behind that. And so it's important as an HR professional to train your managers. And I have probably 20, maybe 20 or so HR workbooks on my Etsy site that will assist. And if you're having any issues with creating, a cover or anything along those lines, I'm so willing to help. I love helping. I love help growing HR departments. So with that being said, Happy New Year, everyone, and have a great week. You're starting it off strong. Feel confident. You know what's going on, and I'm going to keep you up to date, and I'm going to do my best and just continue to give it all so I can help you and your organization be the best that it can be. So have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much.